Welcome to Pride Against Prejudice, a Shadowrun 4th edition actual play podcast.
Hi, I'm Simon and I'm playing Huggy Bear.
Hi, I'm Al and I'll be playing Maverick.
Hi, I'm Jack and I play Toyga.
Hi, I'm Michael and I'll be playing Sunshine.
And my name is Rhydian, I am the GM. If you would like any bonus content, a link to our living campaign map can be found in the show notes, along with a link to our Discord where you can get occasional bonus episodes, and if you'd like to add locations to the map or just ask us questions, you're welcome to join us there. If you stick about for a few seconds at the end of the episode, we also have a question for you as well. The following content may contain themes and materials not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Before we dive into the episode, here's some pay data on another one of the Shadowrun podcasts out there for you to listen to.
Yeah, I got the new ones. You just bring the guns, and I'll see you in 20. That's it. Ahoy, it's about time you called. You know, our mutual friend said to expect you. So let me cut right to brass tacks or whatever. I heard you're looking for some solid pay data. This happened to have the perfect fragging team for you. It's 4 dudes from right here in Puyallup. We got Volt, he's some kind of magic hobo. He smells like Drek, but you get used to it eventually. Mantis, he's the elf with all the swords. I guess he used to be a cop or something, but he's cool. You already know Knuckles, he's that badass orc with the fiber optic rainbow mohawk and tricked out chopper. I even got a troll for you. He's new on the scene. He's like a single dad. He's trying to make ends meet, but so here's the job. It's an easy one, I promise. It's real simple. All you gotta do is jack into the Matrix and download the pay data. Give it a listen. We'll talk about the money later. Yeah. Hey, before you even start, I know, you know I'm good for it. You know, our mutual friend will vouch for me. They'll even give you the Matrix link. And if that fails, you can search for Dragon's Greed Gaming. That's where you'll find the Shadowrun pay data. And one last thing I guess I gotta tell you. The pay data, it's a Shadowrun 5th edition actual play podcast featuring an original story about how far some people will go to protect their family. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means, but just get the pay data, okay? I'll be in touch, chummer. Oh shit, you're still on the line? How do you turn this damn thing off? Yeah, that's it. That's the end. That's it.
Shadowrun pay data. The most awesome actual play podcast available anywhere and everywhere.
So, you think you might be magic, do ya? Well, it's time to learn what kind of magician you are. Come on down, smoke some deepweed, and let your friendly local Talismonger help you figure out what kind of magician you are. It is currently... It's probably the 30th by now, so it's actually the day of the election, because Toyga went to see his sister. You all came back to visit him and found him very definitely not angry. I'm definitely not angry. I'm the calmest I've ever been on the floor of his flat. Did any of you stay over to keep an eye on him and prevent him doing something in his absolute lack of anger, or did you just leave him to it?
I don't know, to be honest.
Let me put it another way. Toyga, would you have asked somebody to stay?
So, very moved, very touched by everyone's offer to help me rescue my cousin. Bit overwhelmed. I might have, possibly quite sheepishly asked if anyone would mind helping me clean up the sort of mess that I'd made, because I'd dangled various bits and bobs from the ceiling on bits of string and made a bit of a magic circle on the ground, and there wasn't actually any purpose to it. I was just doing to distract myself from how very angry I am not.
Yeah, busy work.
So if somebody could help me, like, hoover up, like, the circle of ashes and unhook these, like, rings and teeth from the ceiling and help me put my abacus back together, that would be super. And I will then buy everyone coffee and some cake.
Actual coffee?
Actual coffee.
When you start up the Hoover, you hear the downstairs neighbour turn up the rerun of Neil the Orc Barbarian, and upstairs turn up the episode of Desert Wars that they're watching.
Yeah, I remember this episode. Is this the one where they go into the cave and they're looking for the thing?
I never watched Neil the Orc Barbarian. I was going to, and then I met the actor, and...
You've actually met him?
Yeah, he was pissing in a pot plant at a party I was at, which would have been fine, except the pot plant was in, like, the middle of the room next to the banquet table, and he was too drunk to notice. It was 3:30 in the afternoon.
Stay classy, Neil.
Stay classy, rich people.
He was just method acting.
He tried method acting with 3 waiters, a sommelier, and a countess from East Wales. Yeah.
To be fair, if they're from East Wales, they're English.
But don't let someone from East Wales hear you say that.
I'm Welsh, I'm allowed.
Yeah, no, I think I might be the only person in this whole building that owns a vacuum cleaner besides Mrs. K. And I don't think it's even her vacuum cleaner. I think it officially belongs to one of her daughters, because no one in this building vacuums.
Do you not just have a drone for that?
Yeah.
I do, but it's not working at the minute. Like, Toya goes under the bed and pulls out, like, a busybody. And it's like, the suction works, but the wheels don't. It just sort of makes noise and screams at me, and I don't know how to fix it. So I bought a vacuum cleaner.
Pretty sure it's easier to find a replacement household droid than it is to find a vacuum cleaner.
I'll tell that to Rick the Hobo. He just happened to have one.
Is Rick the Hobo secretly a 20th century housewife?
I mean, it would not be the most surprising thing I've ever learned about him.
Never mind. Why, Toiger, do you have an abacus made of teeth? And why did you detach the teeth from it?
I needed something to keep my hands busy, and I initially had a jar of teeth, but then I needed the jar for something.
So you threaded them onto the abacus?
I threaded them onto the abacus, which initially had props made out of wood, but then I got a hold of this guy's clavicles, so I decided to make them into the props for the abacus.
I mean,
And you're putting them on in the wrong order. The trollish ones go on the bottom, the more humany ones go near the top.
I should possibly hand this job off to you. I cannot sort teeth by origin metatype.
They're completely fine then. Give me my teeth back.
I mean...
Also, everyone is freaked out by the abacus made of teeth. It is by far and away the least magical thing in this flat.
Because it's not magical doesn't mean it's not horrifying.
It is horrifying.
Yeah, I'm with Mav on this one. Toigo, that thing is extremely fagged up.
No, it's not. The teeth are clean, and the people who they belong to are dead. Mostly.
And it's still made from bits of people.
Bits of dead people.
Nothing should be made from bits of dead people.
If you've ever been in the room with another person, Mav, you have breathed in bits of dead people.
And this horrifies me. I try to do it as little as possible.
Literally everything is made of bits of dead things. Like, even soy is like bits of dead plants. Meat is
Yes,
bits
but
of
that's
dead
not
animals.
recognisably dead plant, and that's also not recognisably people.
These aren't recognisably people. They're just weird white stones.
Bits of people.
They're still teeth. Toiger, the fact that you can tell which metatype they came from means those teeth are far too recognisable. I'm with Mav on that one.
Thank you, Sunshine.
So the orc ones are long and very, very sturdy. Troll ones are longest and sturdiest. Orc ones are sort of like a happy medium. The human ones are the really tiny little boring ones. And the dwarf ones are the ones that are really broad.
What about elves?
Oh, I don't have any elf teeth.
That you know of.
That seems odd. Why do you not have any elf teeth?
Never come across an elf whose teeth I could steal. I mean, I dare say if I asked Mrs. K, she'd not some of the ones out of some of her more horrible grandsons, but I don't want to come by them that way. I want to earn them honestly. Like I learned the rest of these ones. He just picks up, like, the teeth are on strings now, but he's not put them back on, like, the abacus made of clavicle, so he just holds them up and shakes them a couple of times, and they rattle.
That thing is deeply, deeply cursed.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. It might not be magically cursed. It's cursed.
Yeah.
Speaking of magically cursed, Sunshine.
Oh, here we fragging go.
So, you register magically. To me, anyway. I don't know if Mav has a way of...
I can't see it.
Oh. Have you tried doing any magic, or exploring this part of yourself, or is it another thing is it a thing you prefer not to think about?
Kind of more in the second one of, like, the whole breakup Drek's been happening. I've kind of, had other stuff to deal with. I'm now a single cat mum.
You actually broke up?
Well, I don't know. She's been living in a garage for a week, building some heinous monstrosity of technology or something. I don't know.
I mean, that could just be work.
Yeah, but she's not been home in, like, over a week. So...
That's worrying.
Is she answering her phone?
Why would I be trying to call her right now?
Fair.
Very fair.
However, Sunshine, you're a recently awakened magic user, and you're also in a emotionally volatile situation. And these two things do not always combine well. It's in everyone who is ever around you, including yourself, it's in everyone's interest to find out what kind of magic user you are, and to get you a basic level of control before you throw fireballs at your ex-girlfriend accidentally.
Or set you flat on fire with your mind.
Or that.
Thank you, Mav. Because God was talking there.
God couldn't resist.
Damn it, God. I want your opinion, God. I will pray.
Oiger to God, if I wish to hear from an asshole, I will eat soy and break wind.
I mean, fair enough. Carry on.
So there's... Everyone's magic expresses itself slightly differently. I mean, even if you found another cat shaman in New York, we wouldn't be quite identical. Initially, I was educated as a hermetic, and I was shaping up to be a completely mediocre magician. Formulae, the logic, it never quite worked for me. It was only when I started doing magic as I do now that I was able to get to the level I'm currently at. A fun thing to do might be to explore a few different traditions and find the one that speaks to you. I can show you a bit of shamanic magic. I'm sure Mav can try and explain his particular mojo to you.
I mean,
my mojo is the dearest bones of hermeticism combined with going to the gym. No, really, it is.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like it's...
That doesn't sound like magic. That sounds like steroids.
That's because Toiger and I are two very different kinds of magicians. Not only is he a shaman, and I'm a hermetic, he's a mage, and I'm an adept. Mages
Shaman.
learn spells. Shaman means two things. Shaman is either a type of mage who deals with spirits regardless of their tradition, or it's a tradition regardless of what kind of magic they do.
A hermetic magician learns arts and forms and formulae that allow them to enforce their will onto the world around them. My magic works subtly differently. I'm applying slight influence to achieve a desired effect. A hermetic magician's invisibility spell, think of it like introducing an override program into a computer. If you see me, then no, you don't. My magic's subtly different. I more reach into people's head and point their attention elsewhere to make myself unremarkable.
But then you stop looking at it through the lens of tradition, and both mages are invisible and you can't tell the difference.
Unless you know what to look
Unless
for.
you're looking very closely on the astral. But that's back into the traditions bit.
Okay, this has turned into the two of you talking shop at each other.
If we talked shop at each other, both of us would be a lot more confused.
Oh yeah, no, I have no idea how adept powers work. It's something to do with channeling the magic inwards rather than outwards.
Like I say, going to the gym, training, going to the gun range in my case.
Going to the gym, getting weight plates flung at your head by Hazel.
Proves surprisingly good at teaching one how to dodge. Is that really surprising? I don't think that's surprising.
She's a champion discus thrower.
She's quite pretty for someone with a face like a bulldog licking piss off a nettle.
So, I have done... There's been... How long ago was it I got shot? Oh, and also awakened?
So it's now been about 2.5 weeks.
Okay, so it's been like a couple of weeks since...
The incident.
Yeah, when it all got a bit drecky, where getting shot in the gut was the least of my problems. I haven't been... Wait, okay. Like, I was kind of laid up in bed for a while with that whole thing. The whole, Luna thing has taken up a lot of my time. But I did read a little bit online. There's this guy, Peter Isaacs. He published a lot of stuff in the 2040s, 2050s. He's, as far as I can tell from what I've found on Jack Point about this guy, he's a bit like the Freud of magic in that a lot of his stuff's been largely discredited, but a few bits and bobs of it are still kind of accepted. I don't know. There were a few other papers people were pointing me out, so stuff to read. There was Professor Kano at Caltech, Brennan at MIT and M.
How commonplace are these names that Sunshine is mentioning?
The people that she's currently mentioning, they're kind of equivalent to Stephen Hawking, but for magic.
So we've heard of them.
Yeah, they are really well known, like Freud level of well known. Also, original one that she mentioned, I forget the name, is
Peter Isaacs.
Peter Isaacs, thank you. Incredibly well known. And there's some people who are like, oh my god, this is the absolute nip-nops. And others are going, really? Really? Are you fucking smoking crack? The guy's insane.
Yeah, Freud.
Yeah.
The name Peter Isaacs rings a bell. I gather he was quite famous for opening his mouth and letting his belly rumble. A lot of what he said was disproved by Schwarzkopf's unified magical theory. I mean, I was going to suggest, Sunshine, why don't you watch me and Mav both do some magic and see which one you like most and take it from there. A great deal can be learned from books, but a great deal more can be learned by making important mistakes.
I mean, okay, I guess. There's a whole... Okay, why am I so uncomfortable with the whole magic thing? Well, partly because it seems to have killed what was otherwise a reasonably working relationship. Partly because I can't turn my fragging eyes off and I've not taken a pair of sunglasses off in about 2 weeks. And I'm kind of tired of having other people, other forces, other things choose what happens to me in my life. Although I think this one I can't really run away from.
Well, potentially the good news there, on which tradition you end up subscribing to, is that this may not be an external force influencing your life. This might be all you. If you turn out to be a shaman, external forces meddling, yada yada.
One of the best things about being a shaman is that you get to meddle back.
Don't meddle with the external forces, Tiger.
It's so funny to watch them bicker.
Planar entities do not bicker. They just don't poke the planar forces.
No, they don't bicker, they just have exceptionally petty arguments about nothing.
Yeah, well, they talking fragging riddles and bulldrak.
You've not mentioned talking to extraplanar entities, Sunshine. Have you been talking to extraplanar entities? How worried should we be?
Well, yeah, it came free with the eye upgrade.
That's intriguing.
That's a word for it.
Yeah, I had to do a whole frag. How long was I out for?
Like 20 seconds, if that. Felt like a lifetime.
Felt like several lifetimes.
Oh, that's definitely magic.
Yeah, several lifetimes, all of which were reliving Drek that I really wish I didn't.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then Luna comes home, and I want to burst into tears and cry on her shoulder for, a month. And she doesn't even want to go near me instead.
She got something against mages? She runs with 2 mages.
She frankly hates one of them, and the other one she's trying to, trying and failing to lead her away from the path of damnation or something. I don't know, Luna's weird, okay? Luna's a bag of personal trauma and deep regret hidden under a totally overblown personality and enough cyberware to rob her of her remaining humanity. I know she doesn't look it, but she's kind of riding the edge on the cyber.
I'm also surprised to learn she's human. I mean, I know she's a bit short, but I thought she was an elf. An extremely foul-mouthed elf.
Oh, faggot, we're broken up now. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to tell you that, but I did say she was heavily cybered.
Elf posers, what are you going to do with them? From the sounds of it, she let her personal prejudices against a group poison her relationship with you. What happened has nothing to do with you and everything to do with her. If she's going to spite you for discovering you are a mage, what else would she spite you for discovering about yourself?
She used to be a mage.
What?
Yeah, that. She kind of dropped that one on a very drunken night of crying on a sofa one time in Denver.
So, I wasn't going to say anything, but on one of our 2 meetings, went between, dodging throne pottery, I did happen to get a little glimpse of her on the astral. You can usually get a good feeling about the sort of magician a person is and the sort of magic they do. I've been told that my astral self is faded. It looks like something that's trying not to be what it is, which as a cat magician who specialises in illusions is perfectly normal. She stank of something evil. There wasn't much of her soul left to stain, but whatever magic she was using stained it badly.
Yeah, it wasn't just her soul, it was her psyche as well. Girl's extremely fragged up.
Your soul is your psyche. You aren't a body and a mind with a soul, you're a soul with a body and a mind.
I'm sure that was supposed to come out as deep and philosophical. What it actually came out as, Torger, was absolute bulldrak.
Oh yes, it was
just because the sentence is symmetrical doesn't mean it makes sense.
Don't listen to shamans, Sunshine.
Yes, I meant to give bizarre, vague advice that seems completely unhelpful and then comes back later on and turns out it actually is helpful.
Generally, 5 minutes after you needed it.
Yes, if I spraff enough bullshit, eventually some of it will be true.
Sunshine, if you turn out to be a shamanic magic user, I will pity you.
Mav, you dick! I mean, accurate, but you dick!
Alright, so, look.
You
Okay.
didn't talk much about what happened after you got kicked out of your body.
No, I didn't.
Sunshine, you mentioned you were forced to relive things. If you don't want to elaborate on that, and you don't need to tell us what you relived, but your situation is extremely unique, and
Tiger can't keep his nose out.
Yeah, that.
I'm a cat shaman. You know what they say about curiosity in cats?
Yes, I gather it doesn't end well.
Everyone always forgets the second half of that saying.
There's a second half?
Curiosity killed the cat, and satisfaction brought it back.
Huh.
Yep. I can't work out again if that's like really deep and philosophical or if that's just bulldrack.
Shamans.
Things can be two things.
So,
when I was taught the basic principles of magic, I was taught as a hermetic, and it always just made sense. Like, it just...
Hermetics, they're the...
Magic is a form of physics, or some similar thing. Everything can be explained by formulae and rules. Yeah, that.
A magician is a form of scientist.
Or an engineer.
Engineering's a science. When I was trained as a hermetic, I struggled. I learned the ropes and formulae and tables and all what have you, but I had no intuitive grasp on how to wield magic. When I started down the shamanic path, I stopped using magic as a series of formulae and started interpreting it as manipulating my connection to the world around me, experiencing and embracing the living things and the other things around me, and learning how to make them do what I needed them to do. I'm still a big proponent of we all go to Mav's gym and try and do some Mav magic, some Mavgic, if you will. And then we
No.
go and...
I'm not vetoing the idea, but I am vetoing that word.
And then we go and meet a Talismonger, and we try out some Uyghur magic and see which one Sunshine likes best. And if it's neither of them, we put out some feelers and see if we can find any other magical traditions for her to try.
I mean, does your Talismonger only deal with shamanic stuff?
He's a shaman himself, but he has a wide clientele base, or he used to, back when. You know.
Possibly then we should start with the Talismonger, since you know one. Because if Sunshine can find a focus or a formulae that resonates with her, that will give us a very good clue as to her tradition.
If nothing else, he might have a copy of So You Think You Might Be Magic, which is always a good start.
Can't believe I read that book.
I can't believe I read it twice.
How did you guys figure out you were magic? That still feels weird to say.
I was 11 years old. We were on a family holiday in Great Britain.
As one does.
We were on the Lake District, and Dad had taken me out on a rowboat. And we were watching ducks and fishing. And I noticed a deer on the far edge of the lake. And I just kept staring at it until I noticed that it seemed to be glowing, and everything around it was glowing. And as I looked around, I could see the birds in the sky as one kind of light, and the fish in the river and in the lake as another kind of light. And the more I looked at something, the more I saw about it. Like, I could look at Dad and I could see like his anxiety about work and the most recent fight with Mum and that niggling worry about the headache that won't go away. And this went on for days, to the point where I'd seen like a dozen different doctors, until eventually I found someone who was magically inclined, who was able to explain that I wasn't hallucinating, I wasn't having some sort of migraine. My third eye had opened and I didn't know how to close it yet.
Okay.
The magical boot camp started a little after that.
I think you had a better, what's it called, an awakening than I did.
Yours happened about 12 years late, to be normal.
Okay.
Most of us awaken as a teenager-ish. I did.
I was a little young.
I mean, I didn't start doing anything weird, and a talent scout came to me after a school basketball game, told me that I was... What did he say? He said that he saw my astral aura. Apparently I was instinctively using adept powers, which meant I got disqualified from that game.
Gonna be honest, Mav, I can't see you in a basketball strip. I've never seen you in a colour that wasn't black or faded green.
How do you know our colours weren't black and green?
Because every basketball player I've ever seen has been dressed like a bird of paradise walking into a gay bar.
That is...
Oh no, I've killed the DM.
Damn you, Tiger! I just choked on my beer.
Good shot, Tiger. Well done.
You magnificent prick. Now carry on.
I wish you were wrong.
So
I was only playing high school basketball. We weren't, like, league or anything.
So magenta and chartreuse, or
What the frag colour is chartreuse, Tiger?
I don't actually know. Just everyone says it, and I've never had it in me to ask. Tell you what, Toy just gets out his comlink and starts like looking stuff up. You two talk about adept nonsense. I'm going to try and figure out what a chartreuse is and try and figure out where I've left that book. And then Toy goes off and like starts shummying around like under blankets and pile of pillows and in like the big box where he keeps most of his valuable stuff.
So, mages do spells. They wiggle their fingers, they talk Latin, and...
Or Enochian.
Or Enochian. Or ancient Egyptian, or made-up Elvish. And then they throw lightning bolts. Adepts, for the most part, there are some weird fraggers. For the most part, adepts don't do anything that an unawakened human cannot do. They just do it better, faster, more precisely, or in some way more. Finding out you're an adept is difficult because you need to be doing an adept power while someone looks at you astrally, or you need to catch yourself breaking the laws of physics, as were. I'm pretty sure some of what I can do with a rifle defies the pre-existing laws of physics before the awakening.
Okay.
But that's now.
Yeah.
I'm experienced, and as far as adepts go, I'm quite powerful. When I was getting disqualified from high school basketball games, it was a slight advantage.
Okay, well, should we just...
I think
you guys just want to show me some stuff at this point? Should we, like, do that?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, for starters, Mav concentrates for a second with his eyes closed, then opens again. That is my adept powers running. I am doing magic.
What does this look like from Toyga's perspective when he activates his adept powers? Also, which adept power have you activated?
All of them! Because I'm an adept, I can just turn them all on, just like that.
Like a light bulb!
I technically took I want to say standard action, that's not the term from this system.
Free action, it doesn't matter.
No.
Simple action.
Simple action, that's the one.
I
took a simple action to turn on agility boost. And the others are just on.
Since you can't astrally perceive, what does this look like from Toyga's perspective when he lights up like a light bulb?
So, I'm assuming that Mav's magic just kind of like floats around him at all times. Let me know if you disagree with any of these vibes, but it's a sort of rich, deep, dark red, and it smells like a really rich, hearty stew with just like an undercurrent of like some weird aftershave in it. When you activate all your powers, rather than like floating off you and wafting like steam, the magic goes all sharp and hard, and like sort of. How to put this? It sort of flashes into like a very hard, direct shape around your limbs and around your head like a hood. So rather than being sort of vaguely going on around you, it's now got a set, defined, focused shape, and it's flush against your skin and a lot less noticeable.
I am not going to argue with any of your description, because that may very well be what it looks like to Toiger, because of how individual magic, especially astral perception, is.
Reasonable.
Astral perception, out of character, works however the mage using it thinks it works.
So nothing is wrong. Lovely.
I just wondered, like, if you thought, no, I don't want Mav's aura to be red, you could correct me and I could say something else, but yeah.
No, that's fine.
Let's bring up interesting questions about what a mage who is, for example, colourblind or just blind would perceive it as, but
then they would hear it, or smell it, or feel it even, or they might see it astrally. They could be able to see on the astral.
Yeah.
Fascinating, but probably time to back away from that deep, dark, mega
That's
rabbit
a
hole.
lovely rabbit hole.
I know, the bunnies are beckoning, but no.
Delicious stew creatures.
I'm never going to unhear that.
I think a good first step is that we visit Toiger's Talismonger. You might find something there that feels right, and that would be a useful clue.
Ah, found it. Super.
What did you find?
Like, Toya comes back over and sits back down. What were we talking about?
Magic?
You were talking about the colour of chartreuse.
Oh, yeah, so, turns out it's this horrific vomit green liqueur. Holds up the comlink and there's like a picture on it of a bottle of chartreuse.
That looks like the worst alcohol I've ever seen.
Oh, I was hoping to go back and give another try to learning this spell. And Toiga holds up, like, you know how you get books that are donated to charity shops and the charity shop won't even send them for rag? They're that badly damaged.
Yeah.
There's just chunks missing out of it. He holds up like this horrific looking book. I was hoping Pyle might be able to either find a suitable replacement or find the rest of it. So, while we're there and me and him are talking shop, Sunshine, you can just sort of wander around his tacky little boutique and see if you can find anything that really speaks to you. And then we will go and get pastry and coffee.
It's a shame Huggy couldn't make it. She mentioned something about water pumps in fresh kills producing devil rats. I didn't read it properly, I was half asleep. Anyway.
That sounds better avoided.
Anyway, coffee, cakes, and then we can go to Mav's gym and try and use some edit powers. Well, you can try doing that. I'm probably going to take up running, but I don't want to.
So, you guys start making your way over to Pion's place. We'll largely skip the journey and how you get there, because frankly, nobody cares. You do have a little bit of an interesting time in the hallway of Toiga's building, where the ganger guarding the place, he's got his Uzi tucked into the back of his trousers. Hope the safety's on that. And he's running a mop around the place. He's not so much cleaning up the blood as just moving it round. And there's a couple of gangers in different colours who look... frankly, you could use them to strain broccoli. They're that full of holes. Just sat on a pile of cardboard. And one of his mates is... He's doing that thing where he's not helping at all, and he's telling him all of the suggestions of how to do the job better, but is actually just being a complete pain in the arse. Sat on the two bodies having a smoke as you leave.
Kevin, what the fuck happened here?
Oh, They had beef with the guys upstairs on 31 that run the BTL den. Told them they couldn't come in. They said frag you and pull the gun, so I said frag you and pull the gun, and they were slower.
Kevin, this blood better be cleaned up by the time I get back, or I am telling Mrs. Cubiota.
Frag you, man. She would shoot me if I didn't shoot them. The guys on 31 pay her a cut. These dreckheads frag with their business, they frag with Mrs. K. I know what side my bread's buttered.
Yes, and your granny will kill you if she finds out that you got blood stains into the tile.
Hey, she wants people not to frag with 31. Blood on the floor. That's how it goes, man. You think she didn't put blood on the floor when she was a cage fighter?
Yes, but she had people to clean it up back then.
Yeah, she still does. Me. And I'm on it. Unlike Dickbag over there, who won't lift a drecking finger, will you? Toiga, I know you're going to turn me into a toad or something if I piss you off, but can you frag off and let me clean this up? You're standing in on a bit I've just mopped and you've walked through a bit that I hadn't.
I would not turn you into a toad, I'd turn you into a weasel. You're halfway there already. Try using baking soda, it'll make it clump up.
Seltzer and lemon juice.
You think I can get fragging lemon juice? Also, what's baking soda?
It is soda you use for baking. Toodaloo, Kevin!
Frag you, Toiga.
You might know it is bicarbonate of soda.
What of what now? You want me to pour grape soda on the floor? What the fuck? It's blood. You don't put grape soda on blood.
Okay. You know what? You've obviously got this. I'm going to leave you to it.
Thank you.
Because obviously, as a woman, I would know nothing about cleaning up blood.
Hey, I ain't making assumptions here. I'm just trying to mop the floor. And you fraggers keep tracking it.
Bye! Sunshine just walks out the door while he's carrying on yet another ramble about whatever Drek he was talking about. Although Sunshine stopped listening about half a paragraph ago.
To be fair, so did he. He's just done with this conversation and wants the job over. So yeah, you make your way over to Pion's place, which it's also on Staten Island, so it's not too far away. It's, yeah. So you're in Travis Chelsea. It's on the border between Travis Chelsea and Bloomfield, but it's also pretty close to Bull's Head, which is a much nicer area. Bull's Head is AA. It's,
We're in Travis Chelsea.
Frankie. Yeah, Travis Chelsea is part of the Warrens.
Ah, it is a separate area on this map.
So yeah, you make your way over there, and you find yourself on this street that it's right at the borderline, and there's a few shops. A lot of the buildings here are much lower, certainly than where Mav lives. They're not like big old commie blocks. It's mostly sort of early 20th century buildings, and there's this one shop that does stand out that's somewhere between a tourist tat shop, a head shop, and looks like it sells stuff to like teenage goth witches with a stuffed alligator hanging in the window.
Lead on, Tiger.
Okie dokie, so Toiger just sort of like fishes around in the front pockets of his jacket and produces like a ratty most of a book. Opens the door, wanders in, and just shouts, "Pion!"
As you do, the alligator starts to growl, coughs, and... Hang on, why is it now playing K-pop and the smoke comes out of its arse instead of its mouth? And there's a... Bang! Ow! Oh, my head! Frag!
Pion, alligator's broken again.
I noticed! Who the frag is it, please? Oh!
It's me, your bestest friend in the entire world.
Oh, God, and this day couldn't get any worse. Hello, Toiga, how are you?
Not too bad. I've had a really awful week and I'm going to have to associate with some members of my family fairly soon.
Hang on. You ain't told me much about them, but aren't they complete and utter wankers?
Oh yes, arseholes of the first water, every single one of them. I'm probably going to have to rescue one of them from hell shortly. Anyway,
You could rescue me from hell. You could walk back out the door.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, in that case, let me get out from under this desk. And you see him crawl out from under one of the counters, which have everything laid out in the, like, you know, the printers things that have all the letters went into, like all in those on top of tables, and he crawls out from underneath one. He's holding something small, cute and furry that it appears to be violently magical, and he just shoves it back into a cage on top of the counter whilst rubbing the back of his head.
I was going to ask why your alligator's playing K-pop, and then I was going to ask what on earth was that? And then
Trouble
I was going to introduce
and an escapee.
a what, sir?
Trouble and an escapee. Also, it's playing K-pop because that deck has a Drek head and he's fragging useless.
This is why you pay deckers in full up front, Pion.
I did. He's just a prick. Also, the kids in the neighborhood have been putting up AR graffiti again. Why are you here, Toiga?
I have most of a grimoire. I was hoping you might have the rest of it.
Well, oh god, come.
Oh, by the way, this is Mav and Sunshine. They're friends and co-workers.
Hi.
Aye.
Hello. Please tell me that he's the arsehole of the group and you're alright.
Definitely.
Oh, I'm adorable.
She is.
Huh.
Also newly magical, part of the visit.
Huh. Bad luck.
Yeah, I lift the sunglasses. Hi.
He looks at the glowing blue eyes and he does a little bit of a double take and goes, well, that's new. Huh.
Yeah, got them installed like 2.5 weeks ago.
Hang on. You got magic and then you got cybered. Are you fragging insane, woman?
No.
I mean, you do hang out.
The eyes came free with the magic.
Fair enough. I mean, you might be
But I
insane.
said-
You do hang out with this Drek head, and he points to Toiga.
I mean, yes. I don't think anyone who works in this line of business is entirely well adjusted.
Oh God, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
You remember I was here a couple weeks ago with a mystery powder and you told me it was shade and what it was used for?
Oh yeah, that Drek.
This is the reason I was asking. Sunshine here got a face full of it and then woke up glowing. We're trying to figure out what kind of wizard she is so we can teach her to do magic.
Oh, that sucks.
Toiger suggested that you might have formulae and or focuses for several traditions that might help in working it out.
Maybe. I mean, look, big guy. I've not a sense to you because doing that without asking's rude. What flavor are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Hermetic Adept.
All right. I mean, did make a bit of an assumption that you had the touch, given that you're in a Talismonger. But
Technically, I'm just here to provide moral support to my friend and colleague.
fair enough. Do you have the sight?
No.
Yeah, fair enough. This is going to take a while. Lock the door, will you? I ain't dealing with any bulldrek right now.
Mav does so.
I'm going to put the kettle on. I'll make a soy calf. Toiger, I know you can't. Did you bring whatever the fuck it is you drink, the weird shit in the bags?
So Toiga sort of reaches in, like, breast pocket and pulls out, like a tea egg.
Yeah, that thing. Come through the kitchen. And you go round behind the counter. It's like one of those bead curtain things. And you go into a kitchen that... this hasn't been cleaned in about 5 years. And there's like a stack of dishes that look like they're about to crash down onto the floor and mildew down the walls. It's pretty grim. The table is in fact, no, it's not mostly clear at all. It's covered in magical dreck, and he takes a stack of books off one of the chairs and pulls another one out of like a side cupboard and shoves it by the table and says, "Take a seat. Don't touch anything that's on the table and lick your fingers. If you touch it, wash your hands." But go on then, sit down. I'm not standing here all day.
Mav takes a seat.
He wanders over and fills up. Actually, No, this is America. It wouldn't be a kettle, would it? They don't use them there because their voltage is only 110, not 240. So
Their kettles take 6 years to boil.
yeah. So sorry, America, you will never know the joy of a kettle. So
Because of your weak diet electricity that you're insist on using.
Yeah, the other reason they don't have kettles is because they have failed as a society. Anyway.
We have reached peak British. We'll get comments telling us they're going to chuck our tea in the harbour. So, again.
Well, here's the thing. That was their tea. We were sending it to them, and then they were like, no, and then threw it in the harbour. It's like mostly water in there, guys. It's going to be pretty weak.
All right, leaving that rabbit hole aside.
No, more rabbit holes.
Yeah, he fills up like a ceramic bowl and shoves it in the microwave because no kettles. And yeah, and sits down at the table. Right, you with the blue hair and the light bulb eyes. I'm incredibly hungover. I'm sorry, I can't do polite. Right.
I've been called worse things.
You open your third eye yet?
Okay.
Do you see pretty weird colours that aren't the real world?
Nope.
Alright, so you can't astrally perceive yet.
Yep.
Alright, well, I'm not going to tell you to shut your eyes and open your third eye and open yourself to the world or any of that bull drag. Oh, give me a minute. I need a smoke. And Pion pulls out a backy tin from his pocket and starts rolling up. And he hands it to Sunshine and says, look, I know you had a pretty dracky experience with drugs before. This ain't that bad. It's deepweed. Take a hit.
Oh, I like deepweed.
You smoked it since you awakened?
No.
Alright, well...
No, I've not taken it in like the last 2.5 weeks.
Well, you gotta get a whole new perspective on it. You, big man. He looks at Mav. You want a spliff?
I don't usually. Does this do something different for the awakened?
You've not had deepweed? You're gonna have fun. So he basically rolls up four stubby spliffs and says, I've made them pretty weak for you two because you've not had them before. Toiga, you want full fat or are you on diet?
The days of my misspent youth. Full fat, and then Toiga plucks one up.
Cool. And he rolls sort of normal size spliffs for himself and Toiga and lights up. Alright, have a smoke on that. I'll get the soy calf.
You know, when I left Denver, I swore I would stop. That would be the end to smoking. Although, partly that's because Luna made me swear that, and lights.
Alright, so you take a hit, and suddenly the room just lights up with colour. Everyone in this room is fucking glowing. The mould is all sorts of pretty colours, and it's like nothing else you've ever experienced.
Oh.
Of all the people in here, Mav and Toiga are the brightest auras that you can see, although you may not realise that they're auras at this stage. Mav's aura looks almost like it's pushing against itself and trying to expand, but it can't quite yet. And Pion, although he's glowing brightly, but it's nowhere near as brightly as the other two.
Okay.
Welcome to the awakened world.
That's new.
So you've not had deepweed before, have you, big man? How long you been awakened?
15 years? Christ.
15 years? How the hell have you not had deepweed, man?
I mean,
Because he was a good boy.
you know the stereotype of adepts being aesthetic monks?
Good boy. Get the frag out of my kitchen. Actually, no, don't. I can't be asked to throw you out and you're too big.
I'd say try it, but you're magic. I'm not going to take chances.
Fuck it.
Also, what the hell? You guys see this, like, anytime you turn on the light bulb behind your eyes?
Yeah.
It actually took me the better part of a year to figure out how to turn it off.
Oh god, it doesn't stop when I close my eyes.
Yeah, no,
I fairly forcefully sort of smash the remains of my undersized blunt into ashtray. That's the word I want.
Pion just kind of looks at you and says, "Really? You could have just left it on the edge and it'll burn itself out. Fuck's sake!" And he takes it and straightens it out and says, "Oh, I'll have that before I go to bed." Right.
How long does this last for?
You're gonna be here a while. It's okay. It's okay. Look.
don't worry, I can magic it out of you if it gets a bit too much.
Hey, she needs to learn about the awakened world. Actually seeing it's the best way to do it, Toiga. Alright, look. You won't be able to weigh sense yet. Nobody's taught you how to do it. We can maybe teach you a little bit about it if you want. But look at me, look at Mav, look at Toiga. We're all gonna look different. We're all different magicians with different kinds of magic users. He's definitely fragging different. Also, big man, do you mind if I sense you? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Oh, you're one of them. Huh. Oh, you're a hermetic. Ugh. Alright, fair enough. Huh.
Don't make it sound so...
So, what, if you... I mean, okay, I can't see myself, like... But
No.
What, do you look it up on a fragging paint chart and look at the colours and that tells you what I'm supposed to be?
Oh, it's not like that. Have you been to an art gallery? One of the really wanky ones, where they've got like a blue square on the wall and they tell you it's the Virgin Mary.
I mean, I kind of know the things you mean.
Zombie realism is a blight upon this earth, and its proponents shall be cast into the sea in pieces.
Yes, Toiga. We quite agree, Toiga. Look, it's not about... unless you like him, it's not about maths, it's not about formulae, it's about what the colours are saying. What do they... So, if Big Man over there could A-sense, and you A-sense, and Toiga A-sense me, it's all going to look completely different, because it's being filtered through your brain. Through our brains. Oh, fuck, I'm stoned. It's going to look different. We're going to see different things, we're going to see different colours. We're going to see different shapes and patterns. Because that's what talks to us, that's what we understand. So, what are the shapes and colours saying to you? What colour am I? Don't say white, I know that I'm more white and basic than an IKEA bedsheet.
It's like blues and purples and a bit of red.
Alright.
It's a lot.
Okay. So you can see the individual colours, cool, that's fine. I'm not asking you what colours are there, I'm asking you what they're saying.
Think of it, you like wine, don't you, Sunshine?
Yes.
Oh god, are you another rich kid?
Try again.
Oh, thank frag for that.
You know when you take the nose and you draw the air across your palate and you taste the different things and it tells you... You get that subtle earthiness that tells you what kind of barrel it was aged in, and you can taste the undernotes and overnotes, and it tells you about the wine you're drinking. You can taste its age, you can taste its sweetness.
Toiga, you went full rich boy just then.
I'm always full
Toiga,
rich boy.
I kind of followed what you were saying about, like, what does it smell like and what does it taste like, but no, I didn't grow up with a sommelier.
I mean, our sommelier was also a gardener, but anyway.
Tiger, have you always had so many facets? You're just, like, tiny facets all everywhere. Why are you so angular, Tiger?
That because he's a prick. Lots of sharp edges.
Pion, I will glue you to the ceiling.
I know, but it'll be totally worth it.
That's a bit rich coming from you. I don't know what shape that is. It has far too many sides.
Yeah, you hermetics get that with your geometry.
Can you see the holes? Can you see the broken bits?
Toiger, I'll be honest, you're pretty uncomfortable to look at.
He's shiny.
He's angry, and there's a lot of black and red, and those.
All right.
Wow,
Now-
you've got. Oh yeah, you've got a lot of stuff you're not admitting is going on.
Now you're looking. All right, so you're looking at his emotions. You're reading his emotional state. You can see how he's feeling, but how he's really feeling, not the surface mask that we all present. Oh, I'm gonna regret this. Take a look at me.
Okay. The blue and the purple, it's like bruising, or like a wound that's never healed.
Yeah?
What happened to you?
I ain't fragging telling you, but
Alright.
you're looking. You can see, alright? Unless you... Okay. Can I sense you? Right now, you're high, your hoop's in your head, you've got no idea what's going on. So I don't care if you look. You ain't gonna be able to not look. But among the awakened, you ask. Don't you, Toiger? You fragging ask!
You ask. There are such things as basic courtesies.
Yeah.
Although I maintain that when I sensed you, it was an accident.
Uh-huh. Ask, you prick. Alright. Is it okay if I sense you?
I mean, exactly what are you gonna be seeing?
You. Everything. I'm looking at your soul. That's what you've just been doing. You ain't looking at, like, some surface dreck that I want you to see. What you just looked at, I don't want anyone to see.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. You can't help it. And I told you to. This is to try... Toiger's a flash kid with all power and no brains, and he doesn't know what to do with that power yet. I've been doing this a bit longer. Yeah, I'm not what I was, but I still know drag.
Like someone else I know.
Yeah, we all do. But look, I might be able to tell you a bit more about what you are.
Okay, just... You're not gonna like it.
Look, I've been hanging around the shadows long enough to know I don't particularly like anyone. You're fine. So he just starts staring at you kind of intently, and it's weird. It's like he's really looking. He kind of looks you over and says, well, at least you didn't get any work done before you awakened. Anyone in your team been installing a bit of wear?
Yeah, the one we're missing, Huggy.
Alright, well, I'll leave you a blunt. Have a smoke around her and have a look at her. You'll see what I'm meaning. Toiger describes it far better than I do. Cyber, it takes something out of a person. Alright, go on, Toiger.
I saw two of Mum's personal bodyguards. They had about a quarter of a soul left between the two of them. I cried and screamed for 6 hours when I saw them first on the astral. And the sight of it makes me nauseous.
You know what? I think I'll just take your word for it. I've spent enough of my life staring to the darkness of the human condition.
Jeez, they're doing alright. I'm amazed that I can give them more. Alright. Look, I can tell you're about what I am magically. We're kind of on par. Christ, that's depressing. You're just a baby magician. Oh, God, I've gotta... You look like something between the big man and Toiger and me. You're not one thing or the other.
Sunshine, do you mind if I look?
You can't help it right now.
I'm not looking at her pointedly.
Fair enough. You're about halfway down that spliff, man. So, yeah, you ain't got a choice in what you see at this point if you look at something.
But do you mind if I look, Sunshine? I'd like a point of comparison that isn't Toiger.
I mean, yeah, okay, I guess.
I won't understand it. I'll just... Whoa, whoa. Mav looks away and puts a hand on his forehead. You do not know how many sides you have. Whoa. No, I'm not looking at you again.
Pion reaches out a hand and puts it on Mav's shoulder and says, "You want that soy calf?"
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's always a bit rough first time, isn't it? And he stands up, comes back with 3 mugs, and then holds his hand out to Toiger and says, "Go on, give me your drink bomb or whatever the frag you call it."
It's called an infuser.
Sounds like a bath bomb.
Similar principle.
Does it have glitter in it, Toiger?
It has glittering flavors of rose and cinnamon.
I'm gonna just give me your infarction or whatever you call it, and I'll make you whatever it is you call that drink. Drecky drink.
It's 1 syllable, it's not difficult.
Whatever, man. He comes back a few minutes later with a mug that's mostly clean, and your infuser's bobbing about in it doing its thing. Alright, I'll tell you what. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go get some Drac. Some of this is pretty nasty to look at, but I want to know if you can see it properly. And I want to know if any of it speaks to you, alright?
Okay.
In the meantime, there should be a common point between me and Pion. I want to see if you can see it, and if you can, what does it look like? Just out of curiosity. I think you can see mentor spirits, I'm not sure though.
No.
I don't think you can.
You can't see that. That is very much a thing you can't see.
But given that mentor spirits tend to influence your personality, you might see that as a common thread.
Yeah, give me an intuition -1, please, roll.
Going to be very few dice, but okay.
Sorry, I went full Yoda then, I do apologise.
1 hit.
Alright, so looking at Pion, all you're getting is that he's mostly healthy, physically speaking. He seems to have a little bit of a stomach bug going on and a headache. His emotional state is that he's intrigued, and the intrigue is winning out over the background irritation, and you can also tell that he's awakened. You're not getting much more than that. What would he get for Toiger?
So with everything that's going on, like Mav said, you can see these various different facets. There's a really intense, vibrant anger and hatred there. There's also a bit of fear. He's confused and upset by all these emotions that have been brought up by him running into his cousin. He's worried about Sunshine. He is slightly enjoying himself ribbing Pion because that's basically very fun. And all this is going on, sort of bubbling away in the background, and hanging in front of it is a face that's doing its best to show absolutely nothing. It's like, if you think of like a human-shaped fire, which is burning with all these different emotions and colours, and where the face would be on a human, there's just this porcelain mask that's not doing anything to hide what's going on behind it, but it's definitely there, completely expressionless. Toiger is generally healthy. He's quite fortunate. He doesn't get sick very often, as long as he avoids soy. What does Toiger's magic look like to Mav and Sunshine?
Kind of, I don't know, sort of overtones of being slightly predatory and very kind of emotionally detached. Honestly, sometimes kind of thinking, is this what looking into the soul of a serial killer looks like?
What about Mav?
Toiger looks... Oh, I said earlier, many facets. He is a incredibly complicated three-dimensional shape.
Fair.
And Sunshine, on the other hand, does not yet have a fixed shape. She is wiggling and oscillating and is painful to look at, therefore.
And amorphous.
Indeed.
So, Pion comes back in, and he's got... It's like a tray, and there's a bunch of stuff on it, and a few boxes. One of them was quite large and made of lead. And he says, right, I've got wards on these, and you can see, like, effectively like little magical domes that look like Pion on the astral. They feel like him. And he says, right, I'm going to take the wards off these one at a time, put them back on for you.
Okay.
You don't want me to take them off all at once. You'll get a fragging migraine. Also, Toiga, you know Detox, don't you?
I do indeed.
Please cast it on her before she has to walk across the floor of the shop.
Yeah.
'Cause...
There's enough bizarre stains on this floor without adding bloody vomit.
Right, I'm going to take the ward off the first thing, and he's pointing at what looks like a crucifix. I want you to tell me, there's suddenly this banging on the door. Oh, what the frag is it? And he goes through, and there's this... You can hear this female voice going, oh, I'm looking for something. Daughter's great. We're closed. But I'm looking for something. We're closed. This'll only take a moment. We're closed. Go the frag away. But, and he shuts the door, and there's, you can hear her, and then there's this tap, 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 tap on the door as he walks back through, and he looks at Toiga and says, do you know some sort of sound barrier or something spell? That fragging woman won't leave me alone.
I can do you one better. And at that point, Toiga casts...
Don't kill her, don't hurt her, frag's sake, she's got money, she's from Bull's Head, I do not need fragging NYPD Inc. coming around here.
Fine. So rather than casting, Toiga's lifted his hands, thumb pressed the middle finger, like he's about to snap his fingers, and he just goes, fine then. And I don't know, I've got, what do I have? Charisma 5 and negotiate. I go and politely inform her that we've had to close due to unforeseen circumstances. Frightfully sorry. If you wouldn't mind coming back in about an hour
She shoved her foot into the door, and she's just yammering on at you, saying, oh, but I'll only be 5 minutes, and it's my daughter's graduation in 3 days' time. She's graduating at MIT&T, and she's got an undergrad degree, and this is very important for her, and we absolutely have to get her something.
Oh, you must be so proud of...
Yes, we are. She's a wonderful girl. Lily's done so well, and she's graduated with a first in Hermetic Studies.
So, there's an excellent career in front of her, I'm certain, but I am very terribly sorry. We do have had to close at the moment.
Oh, but you don't understand. I have to get this today.
So, influence mental.
just casually playing with the mind of another being. Did the blue chainsaws teach you nothing? Does your tattoo tingle as you cast?
I mean, I made that one guy do handstands and twerk, and everyone found that really funny.
Go on, cast your spell, you dickbag.
You could roll a skill instead of a spell.
But this is more fun.
You think skills work on Karen?
And what the skill is? Heavy weapons?
I'm fine. Just call to watch this, remember what you see, and then tell me about it later. So let's get that at force 5. 2 hits.
Mouth stops Sunshine from looking at the front shop. I heard what Pion said.
She looks really confused for a few moments. Says, oh, I am so sorry that toilets are overflowing. I think I do need to be somewhere else, though. Goodbye. I hope you get it sorted soon, and walks away.
I was going to do something nice for Pion. I was going to be a good person for once, I promise.
As he walked back into the kitchen, Pion just holds out a spliff and just says, take that with you. Cheers.
Will do.
All right. I'm going to take the ward off this. Tell me what you see.
What do I see?
It's a crucifix that he's just dropped a ward on. It seems to be old, ornate, and gold.
Okay, I've still got the deepweed running, haven't I?
Oh yeah, you're high as balls.
4 hours, Michael. 4 hours.
It actually reminds me a lot of my ex's. God, that still feels weird to say. Her, I know, landlord in her other place. It's
All right, what's a landlord?
he's an orc, like in his.
No.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what his metatype is. Who is he? What's it? All right.
Kind of put upon, and he's okay. He's Catholic. Catholic orc. Yeah.
Wow, he drank the Kool-Aid. This was probably a bad example then. All right. So he looks at you and says, "All right, this thing might have been a bad example then. You ain't gonna get." Stop.
Anxiety.
Right. All right. Look at the colours. What do they taste like? This ain't about just your sight. This is about your everything.
It's old and formal and
Yeah. All right. So it's formal. It's ritual.
Tastes stiff, and that's coming from me.
yeah, that's a good word for it. It's very
All right. Now we're cooking with gas.
flexible.
All right. Cool. And he puts up the ward around it and says, "All right. So that was owned by
Whoa.
Chris."
Sorry, I looked. Sorry.
I mean, this man. He points to Toyga. This man does know how to take you off it if you want to be taken off.
In general, it's cool. I was trying not to look at your aura. That was your aura.
Man, I've already asked her if she wants to look at me. If you want to look, it's fine. If we've literally discussing it, I don't fragging care at this point.
I'm curious. Can I look?
On.
Mav, looks and refocuses his eyes and looks again, and
So it looks, as Toyga says, like a tree that's had chunks ripped out of it. It's like a muscle that's had huge chunks carved away. It's actually quite uncomfortable to look at. You could see that this was something that was once strong and powerful that's just been damaged.
so yeah, in Mav's analogy, you've got a shape that's supposed to have beautiful, curving points, and half of them are chipped and broken entirely, and just it is not the nice geometry it clearly once was.
He kind of leans back in his chair and just holds out his arms and says, "Welcome to the fuck up." So,
Shit.
that thing. And he points to the cross and says, "It's stiff and informal. It smells and bells, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it talking to you?"
Yeah, no.
Thank fuck for that. And he puts the ward up around it again. And the next thing he sort of pulls out and takes the ward off. Hang on, is that a kid's maths textbook? Have a look. What you see?
I've not seen one of these for a long time. Sunshine picks the book up and starts flicking through the pages, and there's it is like a late primary school maths textbook, but then there's been arcane sigils scribbled across it.
You can also see in kids' writing that somebody has, it's clearly a kid that's done this, has gone through and corrected it in places. They've crossed out some stuff that's written in there and rewritten it as, full-on university-level formula.
Interesting.
You should have met the little twerp who wrote it.
Why did he sell it to you?
Who said he sold it to me?
You stealing kids' maths textbooks, Pion?
He wasn't a kid when I nicked it. Well, paid somebody to steal it.
That's better, I guess.
One of the reasons the two of us are such great friends, and at this point, like, Toyga, like, leans down, puts an arm around Pion's shoulders, other hand on, like, the shoulder near him, and said, "We both fucking hate children and think it's okay to steal things from them."
Pion lifts his spliff up and points it at Toyga's face and says, "If you don't put me down in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to stub the spliff out in your eye, Toyga.
Not the meanest thing you've ever said to me.
Please put me down. Personal space. We've discussed this."
Alright, if you two have finished being quite so catty with each other.
I mean, what do you expect?
Pion just gives you a look, and his aura just spikes through with red and black and swirls, and you can tell that he's a man who's hanging on to his temper, and he's holding the leash tight, and his face has his lips suddenly just go very, very thin. Looks at you and says, "Very much appreciate you not making those kinds of comments, please."
Sunshine?
Okay.
Sunshine?
Toyger?
I would like to apologise. Perhaps before we came here should have forewarned you. We don't mention...
Her. Now let's move on.
And I'd like to apologise to you also, Pion. I perhaps should have forewarned them.
So the colours suddenly settle and go... It's a mix of green and yellow, and he looks at Toyga and says, "You know, that's actually the first time I've heard those words out of your mouth."
I'm mellowing in my old age.
For fuck's sake. Alright, I'm sorry. What do you see when you look at the book, other than some kid who's too clever by half?
Weird. It's interesting. It's okay. I'm not understanding like half the formulas is written in here.
I fragging don't.
But it's I don't know. It's closer. It's kind of obsessive. This wasn't a happy child who owned this. This was a space for him to retreat into. It was darkness at home and needs unfulfilled and interesting.
Alright. So you're reading the emotion right now. It's good that you're reading something, but try and read what he's trying to do, how it's ordering the world, how it's shaping the space around it.
I think it is a he. This is someone who didn't necessarily have the answer to everything, but knew that an answer to everything existed.
Alright. Does that search for answers talk to you?
Sort of. What do you want me to tell you?
We're not in...
Here is to try and find answers. This guy was looking for answers.
Alright, we'll put that one to one side. And he puts it over and then says, "Alright, this one's a long shot. I don't get much call for this kind of Drek on the East Coast, but we'll see how it goes." And he takes the ward off another thing. It seems to be a Amerindian, Native American, I think they're like beadwork, like small piece of art made of beadwork that's clearly Amerindian origin. I don't know a massive amount about this stuff. I know that this is something that certain Amerind groups do, and they're a massive part of Shadowrun.
Yeah, and we will leave it sufficiently vague so that we're not...
Better to be vague than wrong.
Exactly.
Yep. And he takes the ward off and says, "Alright, this one's a long shot. Tell me what you think."
I grew up in Denver. This is not wholly unfamiliar.
Alright, what sector?
It was Kaz. Yeah.
Oh god, you poor thing. I mean, I'm an asshole, and even I can Ugh.
Excuse me, says Mav, leaning on his accent.
And he looks at you and looks you up and down and says, dude, you of all people should be ragging on them.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
I think this is one of those things like, it's okay for me to make an Asian joke sort of situations, maybe. That being me as in Sunshine, not me the player.
Yeah, the character who is
extremely Asian. Yeah.
Yes. Unlike the white boy player.
Yeah, and yes, before you ask, yes, I can't deal with spicy food.
Ion just looks at Mav and says, they were dreckheads to everyone, even before the awakening.
Mav looks for a second. True.
Alright. Look, is this thing saying anything to you? Does it feel right? Does it feel like it fits?
There's almost, I don't know, elements of this. It's, I mean, okay, I grew up in the caste sector, but like bordering the fragging barons. I'm not, I ain't some southern belle. But yeah, I've run into stuff like this, like, people would wear stuff like this. It's, it's Denver. It's the mixing pot of the Sixth World.
Fair enough.
So, I guess
you're guessing it doesn't fit. Ignore it. And he puts the ward back up. And he pulls down the ward on another object. This one looks... It looks like lots and lots of Celtic knotwork on a really big, heavy, chunky Thor's hammer.
Wow, which trailer pagan did you steal that from?
He just laughed.
Yeah, I think we can pretty safely discount that one. I like wine, not mead.
Yeah, this thing's trash. This thing's fragging trash. I just chucked that in there because it's fragging Norwegian bulldrag. He picks it up and just leans back in his chair, flings it across the room, and you hear it clang into a bin. And he says, I only stock that for the tourists. All right, that was the ringer. You've actually spotted the one that's bulldrag. Have a look at this. And he pulls out... This thing actually looks... It's still a Thor's hammer, but it looks old. It's got a lot less decoration on it, and it looks silver, unlike the other thing that just looked like pewter crap. This ain't gonna be you, says Pion, but I'm interested to see what you get off it.
There's kind of a raw, almost sort of elemental, I don't know, strength to it. It makes me think of, log cabins and furs, and I mean, it's not exactly screaming out to me, but there's a certain coziness to it. It's very old world, old magic.
Yeah, that one. That's probably one of the oldest things in here. It's not exactly fourth world, but
Pre-awakening?
Oh yeah, it's pre-awakening. This thing's older than the United States was before it turned into the Kaz and UCAS by a fair amount.
I didn't know that you kept this island.
Yeah. Shall we say after Cat fragged off, it's what I've been turning to. Anyway, look.
What do you mean fragged off?
We're not going there.
Oh.
Well, that answers a question.
Moving rapidly on. Don't look deeper on this. What? Sorry, what? Oh god, I'm so hungover and I'm so stoned. What was your name again?
Me?
Yeah, you with the eyes and the blue hair.
Sunshine.
Thank you,
Well,
Sunshine.
To my friends. It's not what's on my birth certificate.
What would you like me to call you then?
Sunshine.
All right, cool, Sunshine. Just don't look deeper on it. That thing's like an onion, and if you go down to the deeper layers, that'll frag you up if you ain't ready for it. Okay, look, you said you got Denver accent, but your family clearly didn't start in Denver. You're not Amarin. Do you want to try something from where your ancestors are from?
You're saying, do I want to try Shinto? No thanks. I've had quite enough of that shoved down my throat for one lifetime.
Okay.
Thank you, Mum.
Tell you what, rather than me picking Drek out, if you go out onto the floor, it's going to be like the light show at a Maria Mercurial concert. Are you okay with that?
I mean, could we try doing this without the deepweed? Just wander around and...
Alright.
I mean, look, if you're saying... If I'm supposed to be magical, and this Drek's supposed to be magical, it should still be doing stuff, whether or not I've got the light bulbs turned on.
Yeah, it'll help you see what you're looking for. It'll speak to you more strongly. There'll be a bit more noise, but it'll call out harder. Tell you what, before you do, there's one other thing I want to show you. I'm going to ask, though, with this one. And I'm going to tell you what you're looking at. Being magical ain't all sunshine and rainbows. We see pretty shit, we get to do cool drag. But there's nasty drag out there as well. And you need to know what it looks like. So I want to show you something. Don't drag and touch it. Alright? You okay with that?
Am I okay with literally any of what's going on right now? No, of course I'm not. So...
Fair enough. Look,
drag it. Just get on with it.
So he drops the ward and lifts the lid on the lead-lined box, and inside is what looks like a dagger made out of human bone. And just before he lifts it, he says, "This has done some dark things. Don't look for too long, right?"
I glance briefly into the box and get a rush of, like, screaming that you can't hear. And then sort of gag and look away.
And he slams the lid down on the box and puts the ward back up. Mav, what did you get off this thing?
Mav, none of the items so far have given any sort of humanity to Mav. They've all been angles, even the people, like Pion and Tiger, they've all just been shapes on the astral. This one looked like dripping blood.
And as he puts the ward back up, he looks over at Sunshine and says, "You okay?"
That's...
Yeah.
Why have you even got that? Like, would you actually sell that to someone?
Oh, frack, no. If somebody tried to buy it, I would have mana-bolted them where they stood 3 years ago. Now I just shoot them in the face. Shall we say that...
We consider digging a big hole in the ground?
Some things are better contained than destroyed.
Should we say that they're better in the hands of a person that hates everything that it is and what it has done, and knows the right people to hand it off to when they can't hang on to it any longer, than kicking around where any dreckhead with a shovel can find it? Are you okay? Do you want another soy calf?
Please.
Yeah. Toiga, can you... He hands you the lead box and says, "Top cupboard, can you shove that in there, please?"
So when he hands it off to... When he first opened it, like, Toiger, like... And a normal person, it would have been like a yelp. Toiger hissed and drew back. So when he hands it to Toiger, like, he sort of flinches a little bit and then, like, very gingerly takes it, trying to, like... You know, like, chefs support a tray on the tips of their fingers? He's trying to do that with it to, like, minimize the amount of contact he has with it.
Yeah. And as he's making the soy calf, Pion is washing his hands, and you notice he's actually scrubbing his hands with wire wool.
Ugh.
It's not enough to make his hands bleed, but they're definitely red afterwards. Pion sets a mug of soy calf down in front of Sunshine and says, "Are you okay? I know that thing was pretty fragging horrible."
That is a very evil object.
Yep. The guy who used it was worse.
Yeah, I bet.
He's dead now.
Good.
Long may it stay that way.
Is that in any doubt?
Please don't tell me necromancy is a thing in the Sixth World.
I mean, yes, but it's just more aggro than it's worth. And the people that try to do it are usually fragging crazy idiots. And it don't. There's worse things. There's far worse things.
Worse things like the pretentious tools who insist they are communing with the spirits of the departed, rather than a genius loci that has had a personality imprinted onto it.
You know as well as I do, Toiga, that those are called con men.
And they are exhausting. Especially when the person they're conning most is themselves.
They get less exhausting when you mana bolt them.
Oh, but I can't mana bolt them.
You could learn to mana bolt them.
Oh, that's why I brought this ratty old book. I'm hoping Pion might have the rest of it, and then I can learn to liquefy them with my mind.
Are you just wanting the spell formula for mana bolt for a shaman that follows her?
Oh no, it's not mana bolt. This was written by a gentlewoman calling herself Nefertari the Younger. She was
All right.
Egyptian tradition. Worshipped Merit Seja. Basically, it's an acid scream spell, and I would like to liquefy people.
Alright, well, I tell you what, I'm going to take that away from you because you ain't Egyptian tradition. For a start, you'll need to learn to use Drek like that thing, and he points at the cupboard. I'll get you the formula, just please give me the damn book before you learn something that'll hurt you and everyone around you.
So Toiga hands over the book, and then he goes it's not so much into the coat, you get, he's going in onto his belt, but it's behind him at the lower back. So Sunshine, I don't know what that was, but it was certainly an object of intense violence. Technically the thing I'm about to show you is a weapon. Toiga sort of pulls out, it's a little, hand-painted folding fan, and when he, snaps it open, it's like a city, a modern skyscraper city scene, but painted in ink brush Chinese style, and there's a little cat just sitting looking at it and just sort of holds out. This is a combat focus. It helps me to cast spells of pain and destruction. Look at it and tell me how it compares to that.
While you're doing this, Pion sat down, he's pulled out the backy tin again, and he's working a grinder. Yeah, that ain't deepweed, doesn't smell like seaweed. That's just, yeah, he's just having a spliff.
I want to turn this off soon.
As soon as you're ready, let me know.
You're saying I'm supposed to be seeing this thing as the same as that thing?
Is it?
Honey, if it's like that thing, I would have fragging shot him.
Yeah, okay, because I'm not seeing that.
That's like comparing a knife to a machine gun.
More like comparing a knife to sarin.
Or nuclear fallout.
Ooh, let's not fragging go there. You don't want to know what that looks like on the astral.
Yeah, you know what? I'm happier not knowing.
Don't go to Belgium.
Okay.
There's a different... So, this was meant to be a helpful illustration on how intention can influence something. The person who was holding that knife was using it to do harm to someone else for the sake of doing harm. This is just a weapon. It's no more evil than one of Mav's guns.
Mav, at this point, removes his, what gun do I carry? Christ, I don't know. Not the big one. I know what the big one
Just
is off the top of my head.
on a squad support weapon on the kingdom table. just puts down a fucking Spandau on top of the coffee pot.
No, Mav
This is
poses,
Sasha.
Mav, in a way that's like obviously not drawing a gun, pulls his manhunter off his belt and looks slightly askance at it. Does it have an aura? It probably doesn't.
Probably isn't even there on the astral.
No, it just looks like a grey blob of technology. And Pion shrugs and says, well, if we're playing this game, pulls out an Ares Predator and puts it on the table and says, right, anyone else ponying up? I thought we were here to discuss magic. If we want to do this, Drake.
I was just wondering if a well-practiced weapon had acquired an aura.
Let me have a proper look.
I can't see anything. Can
No.
barely even see it.
No. Yeah, because it's technology. It's processed. Have you committed some horrific murder and delighted in it whilst holding this weapon?
I've never done that while in general.
Then it ain't gonna have an aura. Or, I don't know, there's other things you can do to give an aura to... They're all kind of gross. Let's just not go there.
Huh.
It's a magical test I should have tried quite some time ago. So Toiga again, he goes like in about his belt and he comes out with like a little pewter bell. When he like holds it up, there's obviously not like a clapper in it, so it's more like a little cup. But when he shakes it, like it makes a sound, but only like the awakened can hear it.
Pion just kind of leans over, puts his hand on his temples and says, oh, gee, give me warning, man. I sold you that. I told you at the time. Tell me.
Wait, I forgot. Sunshine, can you hear this?
GM, can I hear it?
Fuck it, why not? Yes.
Kind of unpleasant.
Does it sound like a jangling bell?
Should do. Okay, Mav and Toiga like holds out the bell with one hand and like the fan with the other. These are focuses for two different kinds of magic. Can you guess what the bell's for?
For two different classes of spells.
Yes.
Mav looks at them astrally. Do they have any revealing features?
So, fan's combat focus, it gives +2 to combat spells. So, Mav, to your eyes, it is very obviously like a weapon. The bell's a summoning focus.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So being really loud and really irritating, it fills you with the need want to go up to it so you can make it be quiet. So what does it look like on the astral to Mav? What do both of these things look like on the astral to Mav?
They're both weird formations of geometry. That one is... the fan is... it's pointed. Is that a weapon?
Yes, it's combat focus. I don't know if you've ever cast a spell before, but it acts as a sort of extension on my own nervous system. I can channel the spell through it and it boosts its power without exacerbating the drain on my own self.
Useful.
It lets him stab people with his brain.
I don't tend to do stabbing. I tend to do more like playing your nervous system like a liar, shredding you to pieces with a sword wind, and if you can find me the rest...
You poetically frag people up. Yeah, we get it. Look, he turns back to Sunshine. None of this Drek spoke to you. I'm fragging glad that thing didn't, because Big Man and Toiga or not, I'd have shot you. Because we don't need more of that in the world.
No, I'd have helped.
Why don't you go out on the shop floor and have a look for something that, actually does talk to you, then we can maybe work out what you are. Look, I've looked at you. You're halfway between Toiga and the big man, so you're clearly a mystic adept. You're gonna be able to cast if you choose to do that. You're gonna be able to learn to summon spirits if you choose to do that. You're gonna be able to... You'll have to learn specifically how to actually open your third eye if you don't want to have a smoke, but you'll also be able to do What the hell do you do anyway? He looks at Mav. Are you one of those assholes that, schmoozes? I'm assuming you don't play the piano or something like that. Do you punch people, shoot people? What?
I shoot people.
All right, fair
That's
enough.
why I went for the gun.
All
It's
right.
not my primary, but I've used it.
All right, fair enough. You do whatever the hell he does. Adepts, I don't understand it. I ain't one, so meh. But you got choices. But you ain't gonna be able to make those choices unless you work out how you do the dreck you're gonna do. So, if you want to go have a look and find something that talks to you, cool, you do that. But kind of recommend you get this hoop hole to cast detox on you first, because...
Yeah, this is... I don't like this, as it is.
Yeah, you think it's bad in my kitchen? You go out on my shop floor. I have magical dreck from all over the fragging world out there.
No thanks. Toiger?
So Toiger goes up to Sunshine, and he's sort of like so thumb in middle of forehead, fingers around like the side of the face, and sort of like there's a very faint like sort of blush of golden light where your fingertips meet head, and you've not like you can hear him purring a little bit, like it seems to be coming from him, but also from like all around the room. It's very gentle and very quiet, and it just sort of as like the sort of gentle warmth pulses through you, it seems to push like the effects of the deep weed out of you. And by the end of it, you're just feeling like very calm, very rested, and very yourself again. Like it's an extremely pleasant experience.
It also got rid of the psychaf.
Yeah, it also got soy cap out of you, but again, pleasantly.
That's probably for the best.
Okay, so let's add that to my list of weird experiences today. Thanks, Toiger, I guess.
Anytime. Mav, do you want this as well, or?
Not yet.
Sunshine heads out onto the shop floor. I'm imagining, like, what do you call them? Like, sort of weird, not antique shops, but like weird
Curio shops.
Yeah, the sort of place that sells, like old bottles and lampshades and
Weird candlesticks. Taxidermy cats.
Yeah.
When I was at university, there was a shop in Carlisle that was like that, and it was fucking mental. I bought a spearhead there. It's that kind of
place that has like an unreasonable number of swords.
Yeah, the spearhead that I bought was sat inside of an old World War II Brody helm that was being held by a stuffed chimp. It was mental. It was really bizarre.
And we're back to the weird taxidermies.
Yeah, apparently.
So yeah, go out onto the shop floor and this, proper rambling, like there's barely enough space between the shelves to slide through in some places. Some of it's in like really nice glass cabinets, some of it's on like old Dexian shelving with like incredibly dusty chipboard. Is wandering past like shelves upon shelves of just everything. It's a bit, in places, a bit sort of weird neo-pagan shop that sells, crystals and incense, and then there's bits where like, are these? I think these are actually wands, and this is just weird, like knickknacks and strange old carved toys.
So as you're looking at the wands and you reach out towards them, you hear a voice from the kitchen. Don't touch the fragging wands, those are weapon foci. They will frag you up.
Okay. Noted.
Can you see how they're similar to the fan? Similar?
You remember the bit where you used that spell on me?
Yes.
So no.
Oh.
What did you expect, Toiger?
At this point, it just turns into like when you're going around one of these weird ass curio shops of just what random dreck can I find?
Meanwhile, Pion sits down next to Mav and just says, "Psychaphanous spliff, not deepweed."
I'll take the calf.
Your loss, and makes you a coffee. Tiger, you having a smoke?
Oh, go on then. Twist my arm. Mav, you ever seen a spirit on the astral?
This is the first time
Tiger,
in my
you do
life.
not summon spirits in this shop. You know what happens when you try.
Shit, so I do. I'm gonna have to leave that spliff. I'm making bad decisions, and then Toyga starts like rubbing his own temples, and you get like that the little gold glow appears again.
Is there a back way out of here, Pion? Because from what you've said, I don't want to walk through the shop, but I would like to go outside before this wears off.
If you go out back, there's a concrete yard.
Any
Just don't
access to the street?
Yeah, there's an alley. Don't open the blue bin.
Don't open the blue bin.
I don't know why you would, but common courtesy to... Yeah, whatever. So yeah, Sunshine's wandering around.
Yep. She's looking at just all sorts of random stuff in here. There's some stones with sort of stuff carved on them. She's grabbed a few of those. There's a couple of bits of bone. There's a couple of old toys, like almost like, you know, sort of painted lead soldiers. They're all chipped and ancient, that kind of thing.
Please don't tell me there's a bloody Furby. That's clearly a cursed object that belongs in a lead box.
No Furby. Although she's rummaging through a load of books at one point and finds wait, this is an actual iPad, not a like a really old one from like the 2010s. As she tries turning it on, and it does, weirdly. Like, okay. As she starts tapping through stuff on it, and
It asks for your Apple ID. Can you remember the password? Can you fuck? Nobody can ever remember their Apple ID password.
yeah, she kind of decides to hang on to that. There's a couple of books that are hermetic. A box of chalk, and also some, you know, those conductive, like, silver ink markers? Some of those. They're like whiteboard pens, but they're metal ink. Grabs a music player from the, like, 2040s as well. Grabs that and comes back into the back of the shop and goes, okay, so I found these.
Ion looks at it, and so there's an iPad.
There's an MP3. So, well, no, not an MP3 player, but like a ye olde 2040s-ish
Equivalent.
Yeah, music player. Some like pebbles with runes carved on them. There's chalk. There's children's toys. There's a couple of books. It's a real mishmash of like weird dreck.
So he looks at these for a few minutes and goes, if he hadn't just cast detox on you, I'd ask if you were high right now. The frag of you, Toyga. Can you make head and tail of this?
Honestly, no. A lot of these things seem to actively contradict each other. Like, you shouldn't be able to use some of these if you've ever used some of the others. This is...
Alright, so...
It's a bit chaotic.
I'm sorry to ask this. What the hell happened to you when you awakened?
So we were on a job.
Yeah, you got hit and drugs were involved. Toyga's told me that much because he wanted to find out what the drugs were. We know that they pulled your astral self out your body. What happened then?
Bad thing?
Okay, bad things. Don't give me specifics, but brushstrokes here. Give me something to work with.
I met a thing that...
You met a thing? What kind of thing?
Guess a spirit or something? I don't know.
A spirit or something? Come on, narrow that down.
It was big, it was ancient, it was made of shattered mirrors. It showed me a whole load of dreck from my past I really didn't want to revisit.
Hang on. It showed you drag. Like, did you get the sense it was trying to test you?
Yes.
His eyebrows just raise and he looks at Toyga and says, that shouldn't be possible.
Magicians work for decades for an audience with the Dweller, and you do it by accident.
You met the fragging Dweller. He who dwells on the threshold, the being that controls access to the metaplanes. You were uninitiated, unawakened, and you met the fragging Dweller.
I guess. Sorry?
I'm gonna need another spliff. Frag me.
Completely untrained and unprepared, you survived an encounter with the Dweller upon the threshold.
Can you stop acting like I've been caught doing something I was not supposed to, please? I didn't ask for any of this.
You didn't do something you're not supposed to. You did something that shouldn't be possible. Supposed to doesn't come into it.
Well, it happened.
Frag
unless
me.
You guys are just, unless you've got the wrong end of the stick and it was just something else.
No, it ain't gonna be. If it was something else, it probably would have eaten your brain.
Sunshine,
do you even know what the Dweller is?
An asshat?
Well, yeah. I mean, pretty much every account agrees that it's a prick.
it's not so much a asshat as the asshat.
Yeah.
Sunshine, in 2062, the emeritus professor of ethrology at Harvard, through considerable effort, arranged an audience between himself and the Dweller. He travelled to its threshold, and it tore him apart. This was probably one of the most powerful magicians in the entire UCAS.
That thing's outside of space and time. It's not... The fragging Great Dragons pale in comparison to that thing.
This thing makes fucking Ghostwalker look like a snarly alley cat.
Okay, and what it decided to do with me for an unspecified length of time was make me relive a whole load of my traumatic dreck from my past.
Alright. It made you live traumatic dreck. What made the traumatic dreck stop?
I made a choice.
Okay. What kind of choice? Come on, I need some detail to work with here. I don't need to know your life story, but...
Right.
Did it... What was this choice?
I had to accept what had happened to me and the stuff I couldn't change. And then, but I had to not let that rule me. It was about making a choice that was in my past. I had to come to terms with that, but then kind of make amends with myself and move on with my life. And then I went home and basically got immediately dumped straight afterwards. So that was great. Thanks, Luna.
Well, fuck. Alright, well, that last bit sucks. Sorry about that. Look, the Dweller, it's not of our world. It's not really of the metaplanes either. I mean, I've been to the metaplanes. I got past the bugger. That was an experience.
So you've met him as well, then? Them, I don't know.
Them's probably the best word. It's them. It ain't...
Them plural, possibly.
Them, every sense of the word. It ain't... That thing, it's not interested in good or evil. It's not interested in morality. It's interested in, are you worthy? Are you able to prove yourself? It guards the gate between those worlds. Frag knows how you ended up there.
Bag full of drugs to the face. I thought we'd gone over this.
Yeah, but how much of that's... Well, somebody's going to be able to write a paper on that. It certainly ain't fragging me.
It's like a kilo bag. It burst. Quite a lot of it went up my nose.
Sunshine, if I ever in the future question your resolve or capabilities, I want you to look me in the eye and say Dweller on the threshold. And I promise you, hand over heart, that I will shut up there and then.
Pion just looks at you and says, take that. Seriously, just take that. Please. Getting him to shut up, it never happens.
Of all the miracles mentioned here.
Okay. Thanks.
Whatever the frag happened to you, it's... Alright, so you brought me a load of dreck. Kids' toys, some old technological dreck that's... I was only keeping this stuff because some hermetic dude was making notes on it, and I've been transcribing it to try and sell it. Tell you what, frag it. And he hands you the iPad. Shut your eyes.
Okay.
Anything? Are you able to do the technological hoodoo with your head?
Nah. My eyes open at that and go, what?
Are you one of them? You know.
Pion, this isn't the time for your ridiculous conspiracy theories about...
Oh, come on, it's 2 years ago that fragging dreck happened. That thing threatened to drop a Thor shot on the Earth. It was only because another of those weird Matrix blobby thing, I don't know what the frag you call them, AI agreed to negotiate that it didn't, and they blew up a power plant, and there was that whole dreck with the escapees, and...
There's a guy I should introduce you to on the Matrix. The two of you would have an amazing time
This
hanging
stuff
out.
was literally on Horizon News. They ain't gonna put that dreck on there when it makes them look bad if it ain't actually happening. They came out of that looking like hell.
Perfectly normal Shadowrunners and hackers being clever. None of this, ooh, I can control the false astral without using a conling. Ooh.
Go frag yourself, Toiga.
Not if I frag. Wait, no.
Also, hacker? What? Which century are we living in, Toiger? Do you mean Decker?
Well, the house I grew up in was built in, like, the 2011s, so 2010s even, so that century, possibly?
You mean... Oh, frag it.
I mean, yeah.
Well, apparently you're probably not one of them. You're probably not a technomancer. Thank God.
Yes, she's probably not, I was going to say unicorn, but those are probably...
I mean, I'm a Decker, a bit. I was.
Alright.
And you can be more than one thing at once. Yeah, I'm a Decker and apparently a magic adept, or whatever it was called.
Mystic adept.
Yeah, that.
Alright, fine. Tell you what. Pull out your comlink.
Okay.
See if you can crack into that. Should be fragging easy. Ancient drag.
What, into an actual iPad?
I don't know, it's old. Old stuff's less secure.
Chummer, I would need the Matrix equivalent of the fragging Rosetta Stone to open this thing up. This is... Yeah, I don't actually speak Matrix Ancient Sumerian.
Alright,
You know, I actually saw a book written in Ancient Sumerian last time I was here. Did you?
Toiga, not the time. He pulls out a couple of comm links and turns one off and then puts the other one on the table. Right. Crack into that then.
Okay, so I get my comlink out and drop the sunglasses onto my head, like down over my eyes. So go to Matrix, and so it's an analyze I need to roll first.
No, it's running on open, so you can find it. So you can just start rolling exploit. Don't worry about actual rolls, though.
Yeah, I run my exploit program a number of times. Go, get myself in and go pop the glasses up. Mm-hmm.
As you do, Pion grabs Toiga by the shoulder and shakes him and says, "Fraggin' knew it. She's one of them. She's using Matrix magic. Look at it. It's fragging knew it wasn't like techno bullshit. I knew it was some kind of magic. Look at her.
Pion, this is just how she uses the Matrix. Please stop shaking me.
She's like a fragging light bulb. She is like a Christmas tree right now.
Okay,
Holy shit, you're right. Oh my god.
Yeah, I fragging told you. She's one of fragging them.
I popped my glasses up.
I don't know what's worse, that you're a technomancer or that Pion was correct about something.
Were you fragging asleep in 2070, girl?
I was.
Did you know the whole nuclear power plants exploding and AIs threatening to drop Thor shots on our heads pass you by?
Yeah, I was otherwise engaged in 2070. Asleep? No, in a bed often.
What? Why is Pion shaking Toiger?
I don't know. Maybe because I've got a fragging technomancer in my kitchen.
Pion, if I was a technomancer, why do I need a comm link?
I don't fragging know how they work. I just know they do weird dreck with the Matrix and their mind, and the corpse say it's not magic, but it's blatantly a kind of fucking magic, and you're glowing like a Christmas tree while you're fragging with my Matrix dreck.
What plane is she glowing on, Pion?
On the astral. It's Matrix magic.
First thing I was taught about technomancers is that anyone who is a technomancer cannot awaken, and anyone who is awakened cannot become a technomancer.
Mav, don't tell me you believe this
Who
nonsense.
the frag taught you about technomancers?
I'm not answering that question.
Frag you, man. And what the frag, Toiger? You brought a frag.
She's not.
She's got a
She's
ball.
awakened. We can see her on the astral.
Yeah, and it's magic in the fragging Matrix. They shouldn't be mixing. People blow shit up.
She's a boogly woo, I'm going to blow up a power plant, am I?
He's an adept.
I don't know what the Matrix does.
Sunshine,
Yo.
have you noticed your hacking getting any better in the last, 2.5 weeks?
I mean, I've not done a lot of decking recently, but I don't know, it has seemed a bit easier. But, it's not like I keep decking the same thing over and over again.
Difficult to tell, I know. Pion,
What?
if she's an adept who improves her abilities with tech, with her adept powers, she
Wait.
will glow up the astral while hacking.
Wait, what? That shouldn't be possible.
It's
Come
just
on,
a
man.
skill.
Come on, man. It's a Matrix adept. I know we've been smoking all kinds of dreck this afternoon, but I'd ask if you're high, but I know you already are.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. That's bull dreck, man. Nobody does that. A Matrix adept.
Is using a gun
That's no different.
That's a physical skill.
it's technology.
It works with my smart link.
It's no different. It's no different than one of those adept boxers who beats your face in with magic.
Look, I'm using a fragging set of truths. I'm controlling a comlink.
This shouldn't be fragging possible, though. This frags with basically every rule of magic.
No, it
It doesn't.
entire shop of magical gewgaws that were thought to be impossible 100 years ago.
Yeah, that were possible 5,000 before that. I mean, this is just crazy bull
That's
drag.
only because the Matrix wasn't invented 5,000 years ago.
Oh my god, even when he's high, Mav's the voice of reason.
I'm always the voice of reason, Toiger.
He really is. It's
Because I hang out with you.
Oh, frag this! And he gets up and he goes over to a cupboard, pulls out a bottle of whiskey, plonks it on the table, and there's 3 glasses, and he looks at Toiger and says, "Sorry, I've only got soy whiskey. If you want, I can get another glass."
Oh no, I'm not risking it. We need to do like a run on a pharmacy at some point so we can get something for my stomach. I keep accidentally eating soy recently. But onto this, the laws of magic. You can
look if you want a glass, I'll put up with the consequences.
I'm not going to subject you to the consequences.
Toyga, are you feeling well? You're not being an asshole today.
Lie down.
He pours 3 glasses and just necks his and then pours another one. All right. So we know she's a mystic adept. She lit up like a Christmas tree when she was doing the Matrix bull track. Are you sure that's not just how these technomancer bastards work?
No, because it's visibly magic, like any of the 3 of us would use.
Yeah, but you should say what they do isn't magic.
It's definitely not astral, what a technomancer does.
Has anyone ever sensed a technomancer?
Yeah. They're not that rare.
You haven't?
No.
What the frack are you talking about?
No, but have other people done it?
Oh. I mean, yeah, sure, corpo bastards and the cops.
Okay. And any of them...
And technos don't light up on the astral.
And how the frack do you know that?
Not answering that question, Pion.
Well, we're not going to fragging get very far if...
I will tell you anything I learned there.
Fine.
If it's relevant.
We've all got a past.
Okay, look...
Okay, so, assuming Big Man's right, and they don't light up, where the frack does that leave us?
He's a mystic adept with tech abilities.
That's fragging weird.
But not impossible.
Fragging 1% of the population, and every one of us is different to the next. Of course we're fragging weird. Of course she's weird.
It also makes a surprising amount of sense. You can channel your magic inwards to improve reflexes, increase nerve sensitivity, muscle density, things like that. I suppose subconsciously you're acting on your own nervous system and brain to improve your skill as a decker. The more I think about this, the less unreasonable it becomes.
I mean, decking it's about response times and practice.
That's exactly the same as me shooting shit. Muscle memory, practice, skill.
Toyga, I'm almost tempted to ask you to cast Detox on me to see if I am hallucinating right now, but I know how hellish I'll feel.
You would waste that whiskey.
I mean, it's pretty cheap.
I mean, it is. It's there to do a job.
Talking of stuff on that table, what is the collection?
There's an OG iPad, a 2040s music player, some toy soldiers. They're like Victorian lead ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not
with like the paint.
The franchise. It's not the franchise we won't mention. Battle Axe 30k.
Oh, right, yeah, no, it's not Battle Axe 30k.
And there was another thing. What was it?
There's some hermetic books. There's a couple of them. They're quite basic stuff. Yeah, there's pebbles with runes on them. There's some chalk. There's some metallic pens.
Is this Toyger's Christmas shopping?
You don't want to know what he bought last December.
See if I get you a present next year then, Pion. I thought the tie was nice.
Toyga, much as I appreciate the thought, why the hell would I wear a corporate noose?
Fancy dress?
I've not heard it called that before. I like that.
Alright. Where did this dreck come from?
Your shop.
Yeah, but I get a lot of this on clearance. The iPad was owned by some hermetic dude who was writing his thesis.
More recently, why is it on the kitchen table and not in the shop?
She brought it here. He points at Sunshine.
Yeah, you told me to go through the shop and pick up.
Oh, this is what you...
Apparently
resonate
this
with.
random collection of trash speaks to her. I just use the chalk for the board out the front to say there's a sale on love potions when I'm having a slow day.
That is utterly meaningless.
Ion, I thought we agreed you were going to stop grinding up Viagra and mixing it with Hurled.
I did. It's now just watered down monster and water with a little nip of whiskey in
Watered
it.
down monster and water.
I'm high, leave me alone.
Well, still less troubling than the actual concept of a love potion.
Hey, idiots buy it.
Indeed. Right.
Looking at all of this together actually hurts my brain. Why are there so many different numbers of sides? Why does it hurt? Oh, I can't even look at that. Mav looks away.
Right, Mav, for your own good here, buddy. And then, like, Toga's like having to come up to you from behind, so it's like fingers on your face, ears, thumbs on earlobes. Like, let's just fix that out of you. And again, like, you get like the warm pulses going through your body, chasing all the drugs out of it.
So while you're doing this, Pion's pulled out. It's like one of the soft paper packets of cigarettes. He's flicked the bottom so that several of them come out the end. He's taken one for himself and he's holding it out to Mav.
No.
Holds it out to Toiga.
No, thank you.
Sunshine.
What's in these?
Tobacco. Oh, if you don't want one, it's fine. I'm just being polite.
I'm not starting that again.
He lights up and it's cheap and foul. It absolutely stinks. And he scratches his head and looks at the collection of crap on the table and goes, I have no idea.
It looks even more disconnected without the astral sight. Also, frag me, how do you even cope with seeing that for more than 10 minutes? That's
You actually kind of get used to it.
really, 'cause
It
even the
becomes-
normals outside glow.
it becomes like background noise after a while, and you can focus in on. But we're not here to talk about me learning to tune out the bulldrek and actually concentrate on anything.
Maybe if you were better at tuning out the bulldrek. Have smirks.
He takes a draw on the cigarette. If I was better at tuning out the bulldrek, I wouldn't have ended up here. All right. This stuff. I probably wasn't going to make it a lot on this anyway. Give me 100 new yen and take it away with you and sit with it. I think that's the best we're going to get here. I don't think we're going to find your tradition this afternoon. Apparently this stuff talks to you, so it might help you find it.
Okay, guess we're doing this the hard way then. Well,
Hey.
Thanks, I guess.
Well, it's been an interesting afternoon, if nothing else.
That's a bit, yeah.
I was going to say, well, Ion, I need to pay you for the rest of this spell. I'm going to pick up on a couple other things. Sunshine, I'm not getting you a birthday present this year. Have weird stuff from Pion's shop.
Alright, what are you getting, Toiga?
Oh, thank you.
Formula for acid spray.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
Alright, so you just want the formula for acid spray? Yeah, I've got that. I mean, I can load it on that ancient piece of dreck if you want. And he points at the iPad and just gives you a shit-eating grin.
I mean, sure, load it onto that, and you can throw in a hand-cranked Brontosaurus feeder as well. Other marvels of modern technology.
I mean, hey, I heard that Evo's working on cloning them.
Sure, why not? It's the world we now live in.
I mean, have they not seen that old flat screen?
I was going to say, it's not like they made an entire franchise of movies and wrote several novels about why it's a terrible idea, but sure, why not?
I know, right? Alright.
Great Dragon's got to eat something, I suppose.
Yeah, I hear Lothwir prefers underperforming execs.
Well, you hear all sorts about the Golden Boy, don't you?
Yeah, old goldenrod. Right, cool. You got your formula. You getting anything else?
No, just the formula for now. I can sit and learn it later.
Alright.
I believe I promised these two coffee and cake. Would you care for some?
Sure.
Tell you what, before you go, Toiga, I'll knock 50 off that if you give me a detox.
So Toiga sort of holds out his hand to like Pion, just...
Pion just kind of reaches out, claps the hand, and he's holding on so hard that it's like bordering on hurting. It's slightly uncomfortable.
So the image I had in my mind was that Toiga was palm up and Pion was palm down, and then Toiga sort of like twists it over, and rather than being like a gentle pulse that goes through his body, just suddenly all of it's gone in a really sudden slurping motion, and then Pion coughs and staggers and stands up completely straight and totally fine.
And he just has this moment of, yeah, cheers for that.
Do you want me to do something about the other stuff I sensed there, or are you going to handle that yourself?
Toiga, a lot of what you sensed, there's no fixing that. You got everything you want?
I've got everything I want. I'm going to go and get coffee and cake with my friends.
Cool.
If you ever want some of the same, just hit me up. You can have some of the good
One
stuff.
little thing before you go.
Yeah?
Any of you breathe a word about that dagger to anyone, and you, Toiga, I will nail your dick to my kitchen table with it.
That's a fight I look forward to having. With all due respect, Mav, Sunshine...
Don't breathe a word about it. I don't want people to come looking for it. You don't want the kind of people that will come looking for it coming by.
Yeah, Mav, Sunshine, you're my very dear friends. I owe you a very great deal. If I hear so much as a whisper of a rumour that somebody is in this city looking for this dagger, I will kick in your front doors and demand to know who you told. Before Pion nails my dick to his kitchen table.
Okie dokie.
Noted.
Super! Off to Soybucks.
Mav, as we're sort of leaving, turns to Pion and holds out his right hand in a handshake motion.
Pion looks genuinely shocked for a moment, sticks the cigarette in his mouth, and actually takes your hand, shakes it.
Pion, yes?
Yeah.
Good to meet you, Pion.
You want me to keep calling you big man or something else?
Mav will do.
Mav. Alright. You're alright.
Do you mind if I come back here if I ever need...
I mean, I don't sell a lot to you guys, but yeah, sure.
You might have a better line on some things I might need.
Yeah, right. Cheers.
Thanks.
Yeah. He's actually looking genuinely confused by civil conversation.
Mav is in fact not Toiger. This may shock people.
He's so used to the bitching and sniping with Toiga that he doesn't quite know how to deal with civil conversation.
And that's how we get it.
Thank you for spending some time with us and listening to the Pride Against Prejudice podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show and look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks' time for our next episode. In the meantime, which mentor spirit are you picking, listener? Not your character, you personally. Let us know on our Discord. Intro is More Human Than Human by Karl Casey, and the background music is also by Karl Casey. Outro music is Neon Thrills by Luck Hash, and all sound effects are credited in the show notes. The Tops Company Inc. has granted permission to the Pride Against Prejudice podcast to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and or any other proprietary material for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with the Pride Against Prejudice podcast in any official capacity whatsoever. All other works mentioned in this podcast remain the property of their respective owners. The Pride Against Prejudice podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license, so if you want to use any part of the show, please give us the credit. See you next time, chummers.